And welcome to our extra helping of money saving. But before I go on, I normally get to drink my decaf coffee and I've got my own It Pays to Watch mug. And this week, behind my back, they've got you on.
Hey, you see, times are a-changing, Martin.
Yeah. And it says my name on my mug. And whose name does it say on yours?
Oh, it says yours, but that's only for this series. Can you see the ones for next series?
Lovely. This is It Pays to Watch More. And what we're going to do is we're going to catch up with our dedicated studio volunteers, and then I'm going over to speak to Dermott Monahan.
He was very good, actually, wasn't he? That black card's quite fancy.
Don't go getting any ideas about... Black cards are not necessarily good. You pay quite a lot for them and not sure you get the benefits.
They wouldn't invite me either. Go on.
We've also got you and Thomas, who we're going to be talking to later, are a celebrity guest who got loads of his money back.
And a tomato.
And a tomato. You caught the tomato pretty well.
Do you want to go and have a chat to Dermott first, then?
Yeah, and then we're doing questions later. You were meant to tell people we're doing questions later.
Yes, we're going to have a chat to Dermott, then we're going to chat to... I keep saying Dermott. Dermott, Ewan, chat to the audience, and that's the best bit, because you don't know what's coming, do you?
She's like a walking menu. Do you see the way she did that? It was smooth, it was swift, it was efficient, and she's wonderful. It's been 20 programmes, and we're really enjoying it. Dermott, I'm coming to chat to you. Now, I have to say, you caused me some quandaries before, because the American Express Black Card is quite a difficult one to deal with, because, first of all, I tend not to even evaluate it, because it's so rare for people to have one, and most of the people who I tend to try and provide information for don't get the opportunity to be offered one of those. But the idea of the Prestige card is a fascinating thing. I mean, gold and platinum don't count. Black's the one that really does. How did you get it?
Well, they offered it to me, and I see what they work on. I mean, it's quite flattering, you think. And you know, I knew this is by invitation only, and you say, OK, I'll take one. Yeah,
that's great. What I'd like to say is I only give this book
you see, there you
to
are.
our very special... Would you only our best guests on the series? You only have to pay £200 a year subscription.
Get out of here.
Well, but then again, they said, you know, you've just said to me, it's fascinating, you've just said to me, they offered me this card, it's really flattering, and how much you pay a year for it?
About 500
Well,
a year.
you know, 100, it's a bargain. It's really interesting, because you don't use the services, but, I mean, you gave me quite an interesting list that I would have to go and cost.
Yeah.
I still think you could get it cheaper. But to be fair, there's always a balance in here. You like having it all in one service, and the concierge service, I suppose, is there for you if you want it. And hopefully it means you earn enough to be able to afford having the card and you're not in debt. So I won't berate you too much over it.
Thank you.
10 grand in the current account now. That's not good.
It's red rag to you, isn't it?
But you know it's not good.
I know it's not good, but I keep thinking, well, I'll move it across at least to the savings account, which I have in conjunction with the current account, which is what be
about 3.6% in
OK, well, it's better than 0.1%, as you told me
It is, but it's not as good as 6.5%.
But it's the instant access and knowing that I'm going to do something with it quite soon, but not quite yet soon, and then it just sits there.
The other accounts are instant access too, but you're right, I would prefer if you'd at least moved it into that savings account. Will you do that today when you go home? Well,
maybe tomorrow.
All right, by the end of the week?
Yeah, online.
Deal?
Deal.
All right, fantastic. Now, I know Ruth's here because she wanted to ask you a question.
I just wanted to confess something to her, actually. Many years ago, when I was a trainee journalist, I came to ITN on work experience, and you were very kind to me, and you and the news editor and some other people took me out for lunch. I had no money, you paid. And you said to me...
That's why you're here.
The only lunch I probably paid for.
You said to me, what do you want to do ultimately then? And I said, I want your job. And you said, and you'll probably get it.
There you are. There you go.
Oh, I tell you what, if she's got a purse with her, we'd love to have a go at that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, I mean, the whole thing's fascinating, because I do find the business transition from business journalist over into main... There's quite a few people who've done that, haven't they? Business seems to be quite a good starting ground. Katie Darham did it as well, I believe, and quite a few. Were you easily upset? So this is really navel-gazing, but were you accepted in the mainstream world?
Well, I mean, they know that broadcast as present company accepted are pretty much generalists, even in the kind of business area. There's very few people who've come out of the city into that kind of area. And it was quite a specialist programme. And I think the thing it did was make you concentrate on quite a complex subject and try and turn it into a subject that the general public can understand. And that's a very good journalistic discipline. So that's really how it translated into what I do now on the news is just broader. I mean, sometimes we deal with quite simple issues on the news. I mean, and when I say simple, doesn't mean to say they're not important, such as disasters. Everyone understands what went on there, but
there's
then
no conceptual problem understanding what's gone on in China and Burma. But
then we're having, for instance, this week complex debates about human fertility and embryology bill, and a lot of kind of complex thing going on there. Making that simple, making it understandable in the 90 seconds or whatever you've got is a good discipline to get. Now, we digress.
We do, because I know you had a question you wanted to ask me. You started it just before in the intervening bit between the two programmes. You never got to finish it. Why don't you tell everyone the story?
Of all the credit cards, you got to see my work. There's one that's gone there because I cut it up. I had a Visa card. At some stage just before Christmas, we were getting some renovation work done on our home. They rang me up out of the blue. I don't normally take unsolicited calls, and offered me a substantial amount of money. I had a good credit limit, and
sort of five-figure type sum.
Yeah.
Okay.
At 0% interest, and I said, well, OK, well, you know, that's for 9 months. I said, oh, that's great. You know, that'll save me going into overdraft, and I'll have a think about that. And when you delve a bit, I mean, this is some salesperson effectively. I said, well, there is a 3% charge. To have it, but 3% 9 months is about 4% APR, isn't it? I thought that was still quite good. Anyway, I took it out.
Depends on how they...
I took it out.
I'll say yes.
Foolishly, didn't go direct debit. Missed one of the minimum payments by a day. Bada bing, got hit with about 400 quid of charges. And
well, I guess what happened is you probably got hit by one charge.
Yeah.
But then they ended the 0% deal and put you on a normal interest rate at about 19%.
I had breached the terms by one day. It was over Christmas, and a switch payment, whatever it's now called, payment I made didn't go through, so I did it the next day, but it was too late.
Did you call them up and say, can you change this?
I did, and I got, the standard.
Well, no, because they're loving you now.
You breached your terms.
You've got, whatever it is, £10,000 suddenly paying 18%, and they're sitting there laughing, going, there's nothing you can do about it. That's why I always say a credit card company's job is to make money from us, and our job is to try and stop them.
But can you still... What I wanted to ask you on that, I mean, it seemed like a pretty good deal at the time if I hadn't, and, I did breach the terms, and therefore, on the letter of the law, they've got me. Do they still do 0% cash deals? You talk about spending deals, but I thought most of the cash deals have gone.
No, there was a card recently that had a 0% deal on cash, so you could actually take cash out effectively like a loan. And there are two cards. Again, it's interesting. They're both effectively MBNA cards. It's an MBNA card and the Virgin card that allow you to do something that I term a super balance transfer. OK?
I'm staying with you here, Martin.
OK. So a normal balance transfer is when you get a new credit card that pays off the debts on the old credit card, so you owe the new credit card the money instead. A super balance transfer is when effectively they are supposed to pay off your overdraft. Yep. So they pay the money into your bank account rather than off another credit card. So let's say they give you a £5,000 credit limit on a super balance transfer. You have the credit card, it pays the money into your bank account. You now owe the credit card the money at 0%. The money's in your bank account. You can do what you like for it. Great for Stoozers. We talked about that in the main programme. Yeah. So they do exist, but it's MBNA all over again. They're the only cards that do it right now. Yeah. Dermott Monahan, thank you very much. Lovely to see you.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kathy and Mike,
Hi.
Thank you. Now, how did we do? Were you happy with that?
Yeah, definitely.
And it's quite busy in the main show. I said it to you off camera as well. You did ring alarm bells. Those bank charges ring alarm bells. Yeah. What are you going to do on the back of this?
I think I'm definitely going to take some time, work out a budget, stop spending, try not to go anywhere near my limits.
Good.
Phone up all my credit card companies, see if I can juggle it all around.
There are two ways to do this, really, and the same applies to everyone when you're talking about doing a budget. You can either say, right, I'm going to do a budget and I'm going to aim to do this gradually over the next 2 years to get myself slightly back, or, and I think in your case this would be the best advice, I'm going to go for 3 months of... Nothing. I am going to, I'm going to spend only on food that I'm going to cook. I'm not going to go out, and I am going to get my finances back into shape quite quickly. Even if you can just get £1,000 back off that overdraft, that will give you money then to spread around and to make everything else work. What I'd hate is if, 5 years' time, you're still struggling with the same issues. This is the moment. They call it a light bulb moment, and this is the moment to have it. Am I getting through, or what do you think? It's scary,
definitely.
I know. And now, Mike, totally different scenario with you. We talked about cashback cards. You got a question for me, I think.
Yeah, I was going to ask you a question about leaving my current bank account and moving to another one. Am I not rewarded with being with my bank for so long? I've got this view that maybe it's better for me.
Let me throw the... In what way?
They've seen me as a better account holder.
Well, The only tiny shred of evidence there is that, as I say, when you apply for a new product, they assess you on 3 things. Your application details, any previous dealings they've had with you, and the credit reference file. So the one advantage you have with your bank is you've actually had some previous dealings with them. They've got a bit of a history. But you earn a decent salary and you're not in debt. You're not going to struggle to get a mortgage. You're not going to struggle to get new credit cards. So actually that advantage is minimum. And on the other hand, what they are doing is taking you for granted. They give you, you know, you're paying 120, 130 odd quid a year a fee. You're not getting that much for it. The overdraft rate you've got, you could get better elsewhere without paying for a fee. All the products they give you, you're with one of the big 4 high street banks. It's not specifically them, but all of them. That, you know, you're not engaging. We have in the UK the 2nd most competitive consumer credit market in the world after the United States. And you're not engaging with it. You're simply sitting there going, hey, I'll sit here with HSBC and I'll be taken for granted. And if you think about it in that way, the answer is absolutely not. You're far better leaving. Can we have a round of applause for our volunteers here? I think you've done it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hello. What's next?
Next,
Yes.
I think we're going to have another chat to you and Thomas. I think he's got more out of this than any of the celebrities. He got a tomato, for starters.
Yes, he did. He got a tomato. Well, actually, you were up there. You were competing, and I know you're a competitive man, quite self-evidently. Still British record holder at the 400 metres at 44.36 seconds.
That's it.
Just in the break, I thought it was 44.32, and I got corrected. But I was pretty close on it.
Very close.
You were only beaten on the board by Anne Diamond in terms of how much money we could save
Good
people.
person to be beaten by.
So we reckon you saved about over £2,000 in practice. How long do you think you actually spent doing all that?
5 minutes.
Yeah. I mean,
Literally, one phone call to Vodafone to threaten them. That was done.
Yeah.
And then on the...
Just to say...
Oh, no, sorry, no.
What he means is to say, if you don't give me a better deal, I'm going to leave you. Not to say, oi, I've got the boys round here.
I'm a nice bloke. I wouldn't threaten anyone. What I meant, just to get some advice and guidance about my different networks and so forth. And with the car insurance, it was simple. I just went on to a price comparison site, like you told me, typed in my details and so forth. Literally, it gave me a couple of options. I went for the cheapest one, which was Swift cover.
Yeah.
And as I said, a bonus. I got a cashback check in the post. So a saving of about half. I got it down from 700 to 320 quid.
Do you think it's going to change attitudes, this?
I
On
hope
other
so.
things, you know.
For me, you mean?
For you? No, for you. I mean, next time your home insurance comes up, or or your broadband or telephones, do you think you're gonna? Because I'm trying to push you towards doing that.
No, I'm definitely going to listen to you and do it because I've proved to myself it is easy to do. And whereas before I was a bit blasé about it, oh, it's only money.
Yeah.
I didn't really question the insurance and so forth, but you really can get it a lot down.
Ewan, lovely to have you here. Thanks,
Thank
mate.
you very much.
Where's Julie?
Hey,
Hello,
Julie.
Julie.
Hello.
What
No,
do you-
hold on. Can I just say, because Julie's part of a posse in here, aren't you? How many of you are? So, first of all, Julie, it's lovely to have you, and I mean, it's very nice.
It's lovely to be here.
Now, you came because there's a group of you, and we can say it because we're actually on the web this time. There's a group of you who met through moneysavingexpert.com forums, aren't there?
Yeah.
And you've all come here today. Hands up, where are you all? You're all in the same. Look at that. How scary and wonderful. And you're a massive freebie grab. We know you're coming in the next series. You're on the main programme, aren't you?
You promise now, yeah?
I have promised. It's brilliant. Ruth's already been to meet you.
Oh, yes, I couldn't shut her up. She was the best talk we've had.
Oh, well, that's good stuff. But we'll do that another time. Oh, your question, sorry.
How do you predict the mortgage market to look by the end of the year?
It's a very interesting question. The mortgage market, of course, has been suffering because of the credit crunch. Credit crunch means it's more difficult for banks and lenders to borrow money, so when we want to borrow from them, it's more difficult for us, and that means, one, getting a deal is tougher, and two, if you get a deal, the interest rates have gone up. Now, what's happened is the Bank of England has shoved cash in to allow the lenders to actually have some liquidity, it's called, to have some cash flow, to be able to lend some money out to us. So I think that will certainly ease the credit crunch for the banks. But I don't think it's going to impact rates so much. I still think the rates, and here I'm talking about the difference between UK-based rates and the amount that the mortgage lenders actually charge, are still going to be pretty high. At least for the next 4 or 5 months, probably until the end of the year. After that, it's getting very difficult to predict any further in the distance. So I think we're still going to be struggling, but ease of application, it's going to be easier to get a deal, but the deals aren't going to be as good as they used to be. But it's going to be easier than it has been in the last few months to get a deal going forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Good. All right, then.
Thank you very much. Where's Surika? Oh, that's handy, isn't it? What do you want to ask him?
Okay, what is the cheapest way to transfer the money abroad?
The very cheapest way is to give somebody a nationwide post office or Abbey Visa second card holder credit card and let them spend on that. That's the ultimate cheapest way, because then you have no foreign exchange loading, which means the interest rate, the exchange rate, talking interest rates too often, the exchange rate you're getting is what's called the Visa and MasterCard wholesale rate, which effectively means it's the rate that they trade at in the city virtually, which is the best you can possibly do. Is that possible in what you're talking about?
Yes.
It is, so it's for a friend or relative.
That's
I mean,
right.
obviously the problem there is the credit limit, and you have to trust them that they're going to, you're going to say take £200 and they're only going to take £200, not £1,000. But in that case, it's the easiest and simplest way to do it.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much. Samantha? Where are you? Come forward, my love. That's right, brilliant. What do you want to ask him?
Yep, I've just received a Child Trust Fund voucher, and I've yet to use it. Where's the best place to use it?
Oh, I hate that question, but it's a good question. OK, Child Trust Fund, when you have a baby born these days, it's you get between £250 and £500, I believe, depending on your financial circumstances, that you can open and put into a tax-free account. You have to make a decision whether you want to save the money or invest the money. Saving means you're going to put it, just like a normal savings account, in a bank account. You're going to be paid interest on it. The capital is safe and it's going to grow at the amount that they've told you. Investing means you're going to expose it to the risks of the stock market. Now, over a longer period, historically, stock market investments have beaten savings. But there are no guarantees, and there is no right answer to which one is best or worse. So the first thing I'd say is, whatever you're going to do, the fact is, get your voucher into a savings account quickly. You can then put it into an investment if you choose later. But until you use your voucher, you're not earning interest on it.
Can you spend it?
No. No, and I get a bit political here, because the thing about the Child Trust Fund is the Child Trust Fund was set up by the government to encourage people to save for their kids, and they're going to give you £250 to go with it. You can also put in extra money on top that's tax-free. So everyone's sitting there going, well, hey, sounds really good, a tax-free allowance I can save for my children. But this, and I've criticised the government over this is a polemic, this is a political opinion. This is the problem. That money is your child's money at the age of 18. You don't touch it, it is not your money. Now, how old is your child?
He's 1.
He's 1. So I'm sure, well, you should have had it in an account by now, but I'm sure he's a lovely little boy. But we do not know what he's going to be like at the age of 18. So the question is, if you encourage people to save for their university fund into this as a tax-free vehicle, and that's all your savings, and it's in there, and you've got somebody at the age of 18 who, if you're unlucky and happens to be going through a bad period, or is a spender and wants to go out and spend, go and buy a car on it rather than as a university fund, or as someone emailed me, what if they want to go and spend drugs on it? Can I stop them? No, it's their money. So whilst I think, of course, put your voucher in, if you're not going to fill that amount, you have to think very carefully about what you're going to do with that cash. If you put it in a cash ISA yourself, then you're still in control of the cash. And if at the age of 18 you think that you don't want to trust them with the cash, you don't have to give it them. But you put the money in a child trust fund, bang, from that moment, it's going to sit there until they're 18. It's their cash. They can take the money out. You can't, and they can do what you like with it.
Chris, though, where are you? Oh, there you are. Come to the
Chris,
front. Come
hiya.
on, Maureen, let Chris have a turn. What do you want to ask
Hi,
him?
Martin.
Hello.
We're getting married. We're both wondering what sort of tips you have for a money-saving wedding.
Get your mum to pay for it.
Ruth's sitting over there. Yeah. I don't know if Laura watches the video programme, so I'll be fine. I mean, don't is the obvious answer. As a serious answer, the first thing to say is the two most important points, like anything else you do in life, are don't borrow and do a budget. Now, a lot of people do borrow for weddings, and they borrow a lot of money. I think certainly I would stretch and say, if you can afford to pay it back within the year and you're doing it at the cheapest possible way, so it's 0%, and you've budgeted those repayments, then if you do need to borrow, I think that's probably OK, because it is a big day. You can almost count it as an investment. But I certainly wouldn't be leaving myself in hot for 5 years on it, and I would certainly plan it and make sure it's as cheap as possible.
Can I just tell them about one thing I heard about this week, really quickly?
Of course you can.
I'm actually doing a piece on it for 5 News this week. It's a new website called something like payformywedding.com, and you can get friends and family to sponsor bits of your wedding. So it's all paid for.
Yeah, you can, and they sent me the press release. The problem is they charge for it, and they charge quite a big whack.
Good luck, folks. Interesting idea, though. Thank you. For the final time this series, give the man a clap.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, we're at the end of 20 programmes. It's been really good. I'll tell you something that we don't normally say. We got this programme on air from 5 weeks after it was first commissioned by the channel, which is something that is completely unheard of, and it was over Christmas. We've learnt. Our audiences have been wonderful. We've developed it. We're coming back in September with gusto, and we're going to give you 8 cracking shows with all the things that we've learnt to how to make the information clearer, more accessible, and save you more money. That's coming back on September the 17th. I think we should probably leave it there. Obviously, if you want to come to the audience, go and check out the website, which you're on already. But, you know, it's been a wonderful series. Ruth, round of applause for being fantastic. Yay!